Okay, here we go.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. It's not quite noon yet, so Kerry Mahoney, who's going to be hosting most of today, is fast on the draw to get you all here on time because we've got a great presentation scheduled with Mary Price. But before I introduce her, so I can get this on tape, today, the House and Senate are having their Ways and Means public hearing for the 2024 budget. And by the way, this is Leo Sarkissian, since I'd introduced myself, of the Arc of Massachusetts. And I just want to share with you, so it'll be there for on-demand listeners. I want to share with you our page. Of course, to do that, I have to hit the page first. That is the budget page for the Arc of Massachusetts. And the reason I want to show you that is we have 66 sponsors of the two bills related to rates for the workforce, which is great, but wouldn't it be nice to have 130 Senate and House sponsors? So it would be awesome. So I want to show you the page, and then I'm going to introduce our speaker. So I don't want you all getting mad at me because I'm not getting the ball going with Mary Price. But here you go. If you look at the page, you go to the home page, which can be as easy as arcmass.org, not the way I do it. And then when you go there, you're going to get to read, again, if you haven't read it yet, the governor's budget. And then, but here's our House request and budget review. And you'll be able to see the bill there. The other place you can see the bill is by going to our bill page. So you go to advocacy, scroll down, and there's 3 workforce priority bills, and they're right up here. And this is the one, it'd be great to like kick that into high form, but you can also send them all 3. Community college bill, the one to let guardians and other related caregivers also get paid for doing their caregiving, since so many people haven't returned to day program. And then there's a community college one for direct support professionals too. So we don't know what's going to end up happening with the governor's proposal or the Senate president's proposal on community colleges. So why not give some juice by making sure that one happens, which allows people who have worked 2 years in our space to get free community college. So anyway, I wanted to make sure you saw that and that other people see it. But now I want to get this off the screen. And as Mary puts up her screen, I want to introduce her to you and tell you something about her, okay? She is the director of the MAICEI program at the department, at the Mass Department of Higher Education. I almost said DESE, Mary. And and it's MAICEI is the Massachusetts Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Initiative, which we were very proud to be part of the advocacy for. And so she's, but no stranger to it. She oversaw the Bridgewater State College program for several years. She started, in fact, at Bridgewater, and I think it's called State University now, in September of 2004, where she was a liaison for BSU with school districts in the higher education community, state and local government. And then somewhere around 2010 or so, she took over the brand new MAICEI program at the university and really developed a template for other schools. And she also went ahead and started the residential component, right? Residential life of it, which I'm not sure any other school had at the time, unless it was a private college, right? Somewhere in like Clemson or somewhere in Georgia. But I don't think we had too many of those going on. So I just want to say how pleased we are that she's overseeing it now with the brand new full boat MAICEI program. And I also want to introduce my co-host and host for this session, Kerry Mahoney, the Director of Education and Outreach at the Arc of Massachusetts, my colleague for years and long experience in our field. And I'm just going to we have, again, the Ways and Means hearing today. So I'm going to let the state representative have his office back and go downstairs to Gardner Auditorium and really encourage all of you to be advocates and share your voice. Okay. And Mary, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to see the tape.
Thank you.
So I'm going to miss so much of your presentation. All right. Take care. Kerry, see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Okay, am I all right to start, Kerry? Should I start? We all good? Can you hear me? Okay,
I apologize, I was muted. Yes, we're
that's
up.
okay.
We
Okay,
got your PowerPoint up and we're good to go. So
Okay,
thanks,
thank you.
Mary.
welcome. Thank you, everybody. My pleasure to present to all of you today. I am the state director for MAICEI programs throughout Massachusetts. And as Leo mentioned, I was a Bridgewater State University director there. But now I came to the DHE in January of 2020, and I've been, working with the coordinators throughout the state and growing programs since then. So I'll tell you a little bit about the program. Let's see if I can move. Okay. So as most of you know, the new higher education bill was passed late last summer, that opens the doors to all state colleges and universities in Massachusetts to students with intellectual disabilities, autism, developmental disabilities to attend college. And, part of the law states that the colleges have to provide the proper resources and supports for these students when they attend class and get involved in campus activities. So when the new law passed, opening up doors to all colleges and universities, not all colleges and universities, public colleges and universities in Massachusetts have MAICEI already. So part of my job, since the law has passed, is to consult with the colleges that don't have MAICEI, if they choose to want to apply for funding to start a program there. I've been consulting with them since the law has passed. So, and also, the programs that already exist, what we're doing is we're figuring out how to, get families connected to adult service agencies and, how to support students that aren't attached to public districts anymore. Because currently, up until the law passed, MAICEI in Massachusetts was strictly inclusive concurrent enrollment, where all of the campuses would partner with local public school districts, and the school districts would send students to the program and, provide transportation and provide an academic coach. So with the new law, what's new, the budget makes it possible to support more Massachusetts public colleges and universities to apply for funding. So there is funding available, thanks to the advocates. There's funding available for new campuses to start MAICEI, and also for the campuses that have MAICEI to continue growing their program, to continue accepting more students, to hire more staff. So, there's funding available that every year the RFPs go out and request for proposals, and the campuses apply for funding for the upcoming academic year. Right now, there's 14 campuses that have MAICEI out of the 28 public colleges and universities in the state. So about half of Massachusetts public colleges and universities have MAICEI present on their campus. So this is what the new law is. We're expanding partnerships. In addition to K-12 partners, as I alluded to before, we are now working with adult service agencies like Department of Developmental Services, Mass Rehab Commission, to try to determine ways that families can access funding for their child if they want to go to college. Currently, up until the law passed and still ongoing, the districts pay a nominal fee to send the students, and then they provide the transportation and the education coach. But if a student is not attached to a district now, we need to help families find funding for their student to be able to take college and to get help financially for books and materials and tuition and also for academic support on campus. So this is a lot going on in this slide, and I'm happy to share this document with all of you after the meeting if you'd like. This just kind of is a snapshot of what was happening in 2007 when legislation passed for the Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Initiative in the state, where students would come from districts and concurrently enroll in college and participate in a fully inclusive environment. And so it shows the difference from the 2007 legislation to the Mass Inclusive Higher Education, which is now inclusive for all students, not necessarily attached to a district, if they haven't passed the MCAS, if they, they wouldn't never have had the opportunity to attend college. Now it's opening doors for all of the colleges to provide supports and to help recruit students and families and assist them for their child to attend college. And I can share this document with the group after, if Carrie, if I can just send it to you and you can distribute it, that's fine.
Yep, no problem. Everybody can get a copy. So happy to do that.
Thank you. And the Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Initiative, this is what was going on from 2007 up into 2022 for many years. It's a state-funded program that it provides institutes of higher ed who wish to initiate the program and wish to continue with the program, that's designed to offer college options for students identified as having intellectual disability development or autism. And keep in mind, these students are fully included in the campus community. They take courses alongside their non-disabled peers. An academic coach assists them with their studies, if note-taking, whatever the student needs in the classroom to be successful, the academic coach is there to help. Keep in mind too that technical assistance and training is available throughout the state for all of MAICEI programs. There's yearly training for academic coaches, for staff, so we constantly are training and providing technical assistance and support for all of the MAICEI staff throughout the state. So there's three important components of MAICEI, academics, social opportunities, and career development. I mean, the ultimate goal of students who attend MAICEI is to give them the skills and knowledge they need to gain competitive paid employment when they finish. And the average time students spend in MAICEI is about 2 years. So they do 4 semesters of college opportunities. And while they're attending MAICEI, the staff at the college, there would be a coordinator who would do some person-centered planning with the students and help them choose a class that best aligns with their career choice, or with what they would like to do, when they finish. So the coordinators do their best to align the courses with their career choice. However, there's also, a career specialist or the coordinator will work with students to find internships on the campus that will also align with their career choices. And keeping in mind too, they're very flexible. We all know that, even non-disabled students, when they enter college, they really don't know exactly what they want to do. So the nice thing about MAICEI is the students participate in internships. And if they participate in an internship on their first semester and they decide they don't really like it or it's not for them, the education specialist will work with the students to find a different internship that maybe, would better align with what their career choice is, keeping in mind that students change their minds just like anybody else. But all of these activities on campus are all fully inclusive. The students are not segregated at all. We work very hard to get them involved in the campus community. These are just kind of a snapshot of examples of some of the courses that the students have taken over the past several years. As you can see, there's a wide range of courses that students are interested in that they take. So, and the students should have access to all courses on campus as long as they don't require a prerequisite. So, and the students are very successful in these classes, particularly with the help of the education coach. They add a lot to the class. The non-disabled peers, the students really enjoy having MAICEI students in their classroom with them, and as do the faculty. And these are an example of some activities that the students have been involved in employment throughout the different campuses. Students are welcome to join any kind of club or activity that the campus has to offer. So, as you can imagine, colleges have hundreds of clubs, and the students can participate in any one they want. They can participate in student government. They can join a sorority, a fraternity, anything is open for all of these students. We've had students that have been, you know, an Irish step dance. They've competed with the Irish step dance club. They get involved with community service on campus with all of the other students, movie club, gaming clubs, things like that. And employment, wide range. You know, college radio stations, you know, some students are interested in that, mailroom, the bookstore, dining halls. The students have worked in offices. They've assisted the theater department. Students have joined theater and participated in the campus plays and productions. So there's all sorts of opportunities for students while they're attending MAICEI. And so, and also students have, students work with peer mentors too. Peer mentors are hired by the MAICEI staff to work with the students and introduce them to social activities on campus, and, you know, take them to go to the dining halls with lunch, introduce them to their friends, you know, get them involved, get them out into the campus activities and whatnot that go on throughout the year. You know, all fun activities that happen in the fall, homecoming and whatnot, the students get involved with that. They attend the sporting events, they attend theater events. They hang out on campus. Some of the students, if they don't live on campus, they come back to campus and go to activities with their peer mentors. And the friendships are naturally formed when the students spend time together, because the peer mentors are typical age college students. And, you know, so they're age appropriate to hang out with the students. It really is nice to watch these friendships blossom, you know, as time goes on the campus. And, you know, the students get involved with social activities. A lot of the students love getting involved in community service because it feels like they're giving back to the community, but they're also doing all of this alongside their non-disabled peers. They're interacting with same age peers on campus. They gain confidence, they gain independence. They naturally learn social skills by working with these students on various service projects, and they make friends along the way as well. And it's a great opportunity for new beginnings, you know, not just for students with disabilities, but for non-disabled students. You know, you spread your wings, you know, you know, you're meeting new friends, you're leaving, you know, your high school. If you didn't have a good high school experience, leaving that behind, and you have a good opportunity to just spread your wings and learn, make new friends, participate in activities, you know, start a new beginning. I've seen these students blossom throughout the years, as you know, that when I was at Bridgewater, these students are amazing. And so why is MAICEI important for students with intellectual disabilities? Well, it gives, I mean, prior, when we were partnering with public school districts, and we still are, it gives special education teachers and transition specialists another option for students who really wanted to go to college and really, you know, they see their peers graduating high school and going off, or they have siblings that go to college. These students really want to have that college experience. So it gives the transition specialist, you know, another opportunity. And for families now, it gives families an opportunity to send their son or daughter to college that they normally, you know, 20 years ago, they didn't, or 15 years ago, you didn't think they would have this opportunity. They have access to public higher education. It's very enriching for the non-disabled undergrad peers. And like I said, they enroll in courses alongside their non-disabled peers. They communicate direct with faculty. They ask questions via email. They learn to work the system, the online system where assignments are uploaded. So the students learn a little more technology on how to get the assignments, because in most colleges and universities, everything is online, you know, the assignments and whatnot. And they can participate in online conversations about the class. So it really gives the students the opportunity to grow and to flourish amongst the campus community. And so what do they do in college? Well, I alluded to this in the fact they take college classes with their non-disabled peers. They participate in activities. They spend time studying in the Academic Achievement Center or the academic offices on campus. If they need tutoring, they can go to the tutoring center. But this is all support that's offered for all of the college students, not just MAICEI. So they're fully included. They're not segregated in any of these offices at all. They see a play, they go to a game, they have dinner with friends. They do everything that a college student would do. And if they choose not to participate in some activities, that's fine too. And why is it important for higher ed? Well, the higher education community, they're preparing future citizens to go out in the world and work and live and, amongst most likely come across a person with a disability at some point. So it gives colleges students the interaction, and they feel comfortable having these students alongside them, working with them, socializing with them, and taking academic courses with them. This is a list of the current MAICEI partners in Massachusetts, and the campuses highlighted in red are the ones that have a residence life program. So Bridgewater State has a residence life program, and Salem State now has a residence life program for students. So, we're hoping to get more of the four-year institutions on board with Res Life as we move forward with MAICEI. And just to give you a snapshot of the country, higher education programs from students, this is from 2024 to current day. Back in 2004. Back in 2004, there was about 25 college opportunities for students with disabilities throughout the country. And as you can see, the growth, and we're up to over 300 now throughout the country. So there's a need for this. There's a want for this, as you can see with the growth throughout the country. And it's an alternate pathway to college. Traditional matriculated students, they have to take placement tests, essays, they have to pursue a degree, reasonable accommodations. The non-matriculated student, which is the MAICEI students, they get involved in person-centered planning, they have individual support plans, they focus on employment goals, excuse me, and they may not pursue a degree. Excuse me. And this is just a snapshot of what the country looks like, how many opportunities, college opportunities are there for students throughout the country. As you can see, Massachusetts, with 18, and Florida, there's quite a few states that have a lot of programs, but you see there's work that needs to be done in parts of the country to provide opportunities for students with disabilities who want to attend college. This is a location, geographical area of where the MAICEI is now in Massachusetts. And there's going to be, based on the new law, there's about 5 campuses who are going to be submitting planning grants to start MAICEI at their campus. 5 currently, but we anticipate more throughout the year. And here's my contact information if you need to reach out to me. I respond best to email, as I am in a hybrid situation. I'm oftentimes visiting campuses, so I'm not always physically in the office in Boston, but my cell phone is there. You can reach me by calling my cell phone or emailing me. Like I said, email is the best way to reach me because I'm pretty much always connected to email. And I see I haven't looked at the questions in the chat, but I'm not sure if they pertain to me.
Yes. So
Okay.
thank you, Mary. That was a great overview of MAICEI, and it is so exciting to see it growing. I know a few students who have gone through the MAICEI programs, and they just blossom, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So we have some questions in the chat. And so I'm going to be happy to read them for you. Okay.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
Lucy's wondering what's available for students who have autism, pass MCAS, but have really poor social skills.
Okay, that's a good question.
And low, I'm sorry, I didn't finish it. Low executive function and low activities of daily living.
Okay, so the MAICEI programs are good for students. Even this has been, and not an issue, but this has been questions that parents have had throughout the state with, their son or daughter has autism. They've passed the MCAS. They can, for all intents and purposes, even be accepted into college, but they don't have the skills needed. They don't have the supports when they enter their freshman year in college. Oftentimes they crash and burn because they don't have that extra support they need initially to launch, and to be a successful college student. MAICEI funds are pretty much available for students that haven't passed the MCAS and that haven't, will not receive a high school diploma. However, I can stop share now.
Yep.
Bridgewater State does have opportunities for students that have passed the MCAS and have the situation that you described, Lucy, low executive function, autism, passing MCAS. And, I'm working with trying to figure out ways for other campuses to support these students too, but we haven't gotten there yet, but Bridgewater does do that at their campus.
Great. Another question is, who pays tuition for the program you described? If a student attends college while in high school, does the public school pay the tuition?
Okay, so that's a really good question. So for MAICEI, if you're in a district and the districts partner with you, there's MAICEI state funds that are available that go to all of the campuses to help support the students. So MAICEI funding goes towards goes towards fees. State colleges and universities are expected to waive tuition for MAICEI students. It pays for books and materials. It pays for supports on campus like education, well, not education coaches, but peer mentoring, the MAICEI staff who support the students. In the district, if it's a district partnership, the district will provide transportation for the students and provide an academic coach for the student. So the districts pay a nominal fee. And now what we're trying to do, since the law has passed, one of the task force assignments is to work with adult service agencies so we can come up with a plan to help families navigate the adult service agency part of it, where they can seek out funding for their son or daughter to attend MAICEI or college. I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, that was a good answer. Thank you, Mary.
Mhm.
And are the students enrolled in the program able to obtain any kind of certificate?
So that's another good question. So the Bridgewater has a certificate program. They've become a little more advanced. They were one of the first four-year institutions to have this in the state. And so because of all the inquiries that they've had over the past from families and whatnot about certificates, they've developed a certificate program. And I think Bridgewater is starting to consult with other MAICEI campuses throughout the state. And I can see some of them, some of the other MAICEI institutions going to have a certificate option. But right now, Bridgewater has it, and I'm working with them to consult with other campuses. But they do, even if they don't go for that certificate, students come away with a resume. They have letters of recommendations that they can take with them from offices they worked with on campus. They have faculty recommendations. They do have their transcript. Even if they audit a class, it just shows that they participated in that course. And students do have the option to take a course for credit as well. So either way, students have come out with, a portfolio, for lack of better words, of things that they have done on campus, whether it was, jobs, courses, socializing, clubs, and things like that.
Awesome. Another question from the slide indicated students may not pursue a degree or credits. Is that they don't have to pursue a degree, or that they're not allowed to?
They don't have to. So I've seen some cases with students who have they hadn't passed the MCAS, so they join, they attend MAICEI, they audit a couple of classes, and then throughout their time, they like in one case in particular, I can remember actually two cases when I was at Bridgewater, the students had the support they needed from MAICEI, but throughout the time they were attending MAICEI, they worked with the Academic Achievement Center to help pass their MCAS because they hadn't at the time. They passed their MCAS when they were attending MAICEI, and they received their high school diploma, and that made them not eligible for MAICEI, but they applied to be a transfer student, and they actually are, fully matriculated students now, attending degree-seeking students at Bridgewater. In fact, these two students are graduating this May. So the idea is, the whole idea of MAICEI is really for students who never probably would have had the opportunity to go to college. But throughout the years, we've seen that more students could benefit from this opportunity. So the answer to the question is, they don't have to be a degree-seeking student to attend. But some students, when they go, things change a bit, and the MAICEI staff works with the students to help them get to that point.
Great. And another question is, Bridgewater the only campus that is available if you pass the MCAS?
Yes, currently. And now with this new law, we're going back and forth with the campuses on students that pass the MCAS, but, just wouldn't probably ever have the opportunity, to attend college, even if they've passed. So there's different scenarios, but right now, Bridgewater is the only one that offers that opportunity for students.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the chat questions, but I love the fact that Bridgewater and now Salem State have that residential life component too. And I'd love to learn a little bit more about it.
Okay, so
how they're supported and all that kind of
yes stuff. Oh, that's a great. So the students that for the two Bridgewater and Salem, one of their criteria is for the students to have a successful year in the day program, because that gives the staff an opportunity to get to know the student, see how they interact with others on campus. And so the students that are living on campus, they live in the residence halls alongside their non-disabled peers. They don't necessarily room together. They might room with a matriculated student who doesn't have a disability. The staff at the residence halls, like the resident assistants, the resident director, all of the resident hall staff are provided with training on how to support these students, after hours. And so we have evening peer mentors, or residence life peer mentors are what we call them, and they're trained, and they actually do nighttime activities with the students. Part of their responsibility is to get students out of their comfort zone, out of their rooms, and onto the campus at night, and just interacting with whatever's going on at that time. And also the residence life staff at the college are provided training as well. So, the students are supported. There's certain criteria, some of the students, I believe some of it, they have to be able to take their own medication, because we don't have, MAICEI doesn't hire nursing staff or, personal care assistants for, for the students. So, but it's been a very successful program in both Salem and Bridgewater, and the students really are loving the independence that they gain. I mean, these students have to, get themselves up in the morning, get themselves to class on time. It's a lot of responsibility they're taking on. They have to learn to do their laundry and learn how to, maybe cook for themselves. But, some of the Bridgewater and Salem, the residence life or the residence hall staff will provide laundry lessons or cooking lessons, but they won't provide it for just the MAICEI students. They'll provide it for the whole res life community. So it's just they learn how to do these skills, but they're learning alongside their non-disabled peers.
Yeah, that sounds terrific, boy.
Yeah, it's
What
really
it's
really
an
great
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, who pays for the room and board? Is that the family or?
No, so currently there's MAICEI funding. The state funds the residence life for Salem State and Bridgewater, and it's eventually, as more campuses maybe start a residence life program, obviously, you have this money is going to have to go to more than 2 campuses. So eventually the college is going to have to figure out ways to share the cost, but currently they're fully grant funded.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So Linda was wondering if somebody will explain what the MCAS is.
Oh, MCAS, that is the Massachusetts state test that all students have to pass in order to receive a high school diploma. And that's also a criteria to get into a college.
Okay.
It's a statewide testing system that all students take throughout. I think they start in 8th grade and they take 8th grade and 10th grade, and then as a junior. So they have to pass a series of MCAS. I believe it's English, math, science. I forget the other topics, but MCAS is a statewide testing system for all high school students.
Thanks, Mary.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Rosemary's wondering, and did you see that the maths rule change will allow students to go to other colleges?
So the mass.
Yeah.
So other colleges, I haven't seen that. Like I'm just trying to figure out what that change, if I could have her elaborate a little bit more, because I haven't
Rosemary,
heard
feel
about
free to
this.
unmute and if you want to
Yeah.
a little bit more about that question, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you for the clarification. So if my son has passed MCAS, so you're saying that it's just Bridgewater at this juncture takes students that have passed MCAS to go into this program.
Yeah.
So
So
just wondering, why wouldn't other colleges do that at this juncture if it's something that is now become available and the law has changed?
Well, the law still states that the law does say that all students, like all state colleges and universities, have to open their doors for students. However, it does the students haven't passed MCAS. Now, Bridgewater program that they have it's a private pay program for students who have passed the MCAS. They get the support and of the student in this particular transition program at Bridgewater is to launch into, a fully matriculated student. So give them the initial support they need for a year or two, and then the student's expected to be able to initially received. They don't have funding, doesn't go to Bridgewater program. It's not, it doesn't align with the MAICEI overall, MAICEI rules or criteria.
Okay, great.
And other colleges could potentially do something like that, but they just have not yet. They have been doing this.
So you would
longer than
still
some
have to go through the district then? Is that sort of to
students would have had to be receiving special education services on their, and it only go to this group of students who have passed and meet criteria of the law. Water is not receiving MAICEI funds for this particular transition program.
all right. So it sounds like it's like an individual case by case, like
Yes.
MCAS is in special ed requirements, but okay. All right. I can talk to you offline on that. Thank you, Mary.
Okay, thanks, Rosemary. Okay, is there any way to transport students from Framingham to Bridgewater for classes?
The transportation is responsible. I mean, our family is to and from. If they're not part of a district, the students are responsible for to and from wherever, from their home to campus.
Yeah, I know a young woman who takes an Uber to Salem State.
Yeah.
So that's not uncommon. Okay, so let's go to Booger. Okay, so to understand, if a student who has passed MCAS wants to go to Bunker Hill Community College, would it still have to go through the district.
If a student has passed MCAS, if the student has passed and they're not part of a district they can apply to take a course there, of course, or take a course there.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Laura put something in about MCAS in the chat.
Yeah.
So no funding for any college except Bridgewater if passed MCAS. That people seems to be still a little stuck on that, right? But that is accurate.
From funding college except Bridgewater, yes. So, I mean, well, the funding to any that have the MCAS, like this, for MAICEI funding to go specifically to support students who haven't passed the MCAS. If students have passed the MCAS, they're expected to college, college of their choice or class, and then rely on the supports that the campus already has in place, students that that have passed the MCAS. But Bridgewater does have this one program, and the reason why they started it was because they had so many calls from parents in Massachusetts, but throughout the country, that were interested, that they had a son or daughter who to attend, and they, at the time, they needed that support, even though they passed the MCAS. And so I think some of the students in that transition program have accessed some adult service agency funds. The families have received some funding for their son or daughter to go to Bridgewater. But I think the families are responsible for some part of the funding to send the students there.
Okay, thank you. And if a student is enrolled in the MAICEI program while in special education, can the student remain in the MAICEI program after transitioning from special ed?
So yeah, so that to me sounds like if a student is the district, and then they transition, they to the college, would benefit. Yes,
You're breaking up a little bit, Ari. I think your internet is a little wonky.
Want me to try it? Want me to try to answer?
Yeah. Should Mary repeat that answer?
Yes, please.
In the chat too.
Yeah, maybe you put it in the chat too. That'd be great. So it sounds like that's all possible,
Yes.
which is awesome. I'm just curious if you're getting, Mary, if you're getting far more interest with now that the the new schools that you're consulting with, is there a lot more interest because of the expanded law, or is it still pretty, I mean, people just really kind of one at a time and that sort of thing?
The interest seems to be growing because the campuses are realizing that they need to provide the supports. And we've already figured out how to do this through MAICEI. So they're slowly but surely reaching out to me. Like I said, there's 5 that will be applying for grant funding for next year. So,
Awesome.
and I think there's several more following suit.
Terrific. Okay. All right. Well, I think we got everything in the chat. Does anybody have any other questions? Wait a minute or so. Oh, Rosemary wants to know who the 5 are, the 5 that are interested.
I'll put that in the chat too.
Okay.
Oh, no, I can say that. If you can hear me okay, I can just say.
Yeah, we can hear you better now.
Okay, Mass College of Liberal Arts, Roxbury Community College, Quinnipiac, North Shore Community College, and Bunker Hill is just starting to reach out to me again. And that's it for now.
It sounds like a nice distribution, though. You got the
Yes.
pretty much the state covered,
Yes.
which is awesome, you know, with Quinsigamon and also the North Adams, you know, the
Yeah, North Adams State. I always go back to North Adams State College, but it's Mass College of Liberal Arts. But yes, it does fill up some of the holes that were in the state prior to the law passing.
yeah, that's
You know,
awesome.
with MAICEI, yeah. Somebody asked if they had a card. Carrie, if I can send them to you when you can distribute them. I'm happy to do that.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll do that. No problem. Okay. All right. So anyways, that seems like a wrap for us. Mary, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Really informative. It's really exciting. So, and you know, I appreciate that you know, you were on the person with the boots on the ground, you know, at Bridgewater for so long. And so you really, you know, have that personal knowledge of how to make it successful. And to me,
Yeah.
that's really exciting now that you're overseeing it and providing consultation and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So,
Well, thank you. It does help that I was, I actually, you know, was involved in starting the program and running it, you know, that does help my experience
Definitely.
now. It helps with all of this, the new law, and helping consult with families and college campuses and things like
Yeah.
that.
So do a lot of families call you directly and just pick your brain kind of thing? And
Yeah, yes, they do. They kind of navigate the website and they'll reach out to me. And, you know, a lot of times they're just looking for something in the area, and I connect them with a coordinator that's geographically close to where they live.
okay, great. Awesome. Okay. All right. Well,
Thank
thank you all who attended today. And again, Mary, thank you for that great presentation. And
You're welcome.
I hope Leo's having success getting our bills passed. And everybody have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Thank you for the opportunity to present.
Oh, no
Bye-bye.
problem.